Hi lovelies, this is Blossom, and today I want to talk about dowsing, especially dowsing in the field. So as you can see, today we are at a standing stone here. This is the sacrifice stone. It's also called the bear stone. Apparently from one side it looks like a bear snout. I don't see it. Doesn't matter. So I want to talk today about dowsing outside in the field, and especially then today with a standing stone. And so I promised this video a while back, and I didn't really know how to start. So I think we start at the beginning, how to dowse, very quickly, because you don't need a long video for that. It's quite simple. So maybe if you want to start with dowsing, you may want to get some rods, dowsing rods. Those here are L rods, and the most common for dowsing. You can dowse with one rod alone, or with two, or with a pendulum. I'm going to show you that later. So a pendulum again can be everything you want. So I'm just going to use my necklace here. I'm going to take that off a bit later. So you have that with you all the time, and also those rods. I think you can get rods that you can make smaller, whatever you like. You can also, if you don't want to spend money, you can make those L rods from coat hangers. So it's really easy. You don't have to spend a lot of money. The first thing you want to do when you start dowsing is to establish or to program your yes and no answer. This is the neutral position, just straightforward. And then you ask your rods, show me yes. And for some of you, then your rods will cross. And for others, they might uncross. My husband is laughing at me because I can't find a word. So they go the other way around. It depends. It's different for everyone. And this process might take a while until you actually get a response. So be patient with yourself. Don't get frustrated. It's okay if it takes a while. So show me yes. Show me no. And then we go back to neutral. Now the same thing is for when you are out in the field and you are looking for something, for example, for ley lines or geospirals or whatever energy lines you want to look for. You want to establish also your found position. And then you ask your rods again, show me found. And for me, this is crossing again. Then they cross, same as yes. And then we can also use a pendulum to establish the yes and no answer. And like I said, I'm just using a necklace here. You can use anything. You can just put a ring on it or a necklace with an amulet. It doesn't matter. I like to use when I'm outside, when I do dowsing outside, to use something that is a bit heavier than this, because this is not that heavy really. But for today it works. It's not really windy. And again, you just ask your pendulum, show me yes. And it goes back and forth. Show me no. And it goes from side to side. Again, this can be different. This can differ from person to person. And then I also like to ask, especially when I'm out, I'm at sacred wells, for example, and I ask, show me the energy of that water. So is it a positive energy or a negative energy? So I ask, show me positive energy. And my pendulum moves in a clockwise circle. Thank you. show me negative energy. And my pendulum moves anti-clockwise, in an anti-clockwise direction. There we go. Again, this is a process that might take a while. Some people need longer until it actually works. So don't frustrate. Take it easy, don't stress yourself. Before you start dowsing, every time before you start, just take a few deep breaths in, come into a calm state. It is not a test, you know, nobody is testing you. Just take it easy and take your time with it. Now, for some people, when you really can't get it to move, you can also just move it for yourself. For example, you want the yes answer to be back and forth, then you just say to your pendulum, show me yes, or this is yes, and then you move it back and forth. It is okay if you move it yourself. It is you who moves it anyway. There are few, you know, this is my opinion. Some people do not agree, that's fine. In my opinion, it's always us who moves it. It's not spirit or anything around. It is you anyway, so you can give it a little nudge. And so you just do it. Some people like to use a bit longer string. For them it's easier to do it like that. Some really want to keep it short and maybe even hold it, you know, just with the two fingers here, and so it's easier to move. Experiment a bit, see what goes, what feels good for you, what feels right, what makes it easier, the easiest for yourself. Now I want to say a few things about this stone. So in this area where we are right now, there is a Viking castle, which is just stones, and then there is the lower castle as well, and all around this, so we have this ring fort all around here throughout the forest, and we also have a lot of burial mounds throughout the forest, so there are a lot of those going around here. And legend has it that a woman is wandering around these woods and she is wearing an iron coat. So that is a bit from the legends here. When you are out in the field and you are looking, for example, for a ley line or some kind of energy line, you ask for the direction maybe. So you are here and you would say, show me the direction of the nearest ley line. And then I'm doing that. So, and then your rods start to move. And so, and for example now, I could ask, show me my dogs. There we go, they're there, you don't see them right now. Or I could ask, show me where my backpack lies. And there we go, there is my backpack. Now, and you can play around with that a little bit also in your home, while you just sit on the couch and you ask, where is the lamp? Where is the pink pillow with the unicorn on it? That's what you have to ask, right? Where's the dinner table and stuff like that. So you are starting already with directional dowsing. And then you also may want to consider information dowsing. So we established yes and no. Again, take your time with that. And when you are comfortable with it, you can start ask questions. So for example, and you can do that with the rods just as much as with the pendulum. I'm using one rod now, for example, and I say, my eyes are blue. And I get a yes. I could also ask, I am 560 years old. And I get a no. I'm not that old. I live in France. And I get a no. So, and you ask questions that you know to make it easy for you. And you can do that every day for a few minutes just, or, you know, whenever you have time for it. It doesn't have to be anything that is stressful, right? Take it easy, have fun with it. So when you are at a site like this, we can use information dowsing. So you can ask questions. Was this site for rituals, for example? Was this site a place of law and justice? Was this place, whatever, I don't know. Is it really a sacrifice stone, for example, in this case? So you can do information dowsing, but of course you can also use your tarot or oracle cards or your OM and your runes to ask questions. I have a video about this where I will put the link in the description box, where I have a spread to ask to interview the spirit of the place or the beings of the place as well. So I will put those two links in the description box as well, so you can have a look at that if that is something that interests you. And at some point you want to go out then and you ask your questions. Show me the nearest ley line. Show me the nearest geospiral, for example. So geospirals can often be found at sacred sites or churches, or well, honestly everywhere they can be found. They are everywhere in the world. They can also be, you can also find one in your backyard. And geospirals are created by primary water, so water that comes from the earth itself. So we have rainwater, water from the sky, and we have streams, so we have water lines running, and those are not always good for us to live on, for example. That often can cause geopathic stress, but geospirals are always a positive energy. The energy of geospirals flow from a central core and radiate outwards in circles. So when you are out, you can ask, show me the nearest, you start with a question. Is there a geospiral within 100 meters? And then you ask and you get a yes or a no. And then you might widen 200 meters, 300 meters. But if you get a yes, then you can ask, show me the direction of the nearest geospiral. And then you move with your rods towards that direction until you found it. And there again, for found, establish your found position. Now I'll show you something else. Now, go in, say hi.
Hi.
So I talked about ley lines or energy lines already, and I think it's time to say, if you have no idea what I'm actually talking about, I made a video a while back for my fairy course about dowsing and energy lines. So I'm gonna put the link for that video in the description box, and I will also give you the link for the text that I wrote with it, where you get a bit of an idea what I'm talking about. So let's assume you did already your map work and you want to go out in the field, and it's a bit creepy. And you want to go look and hunt for a ley line. The thing is, it is difficult for our mind to look for something so invisible. What is good to establish and to deepen your dowsing practice is to have a target, something visible. On the ground, so you can start to train your brain a bit. And for that you just use a rope, a string, whatever you can find. So again, I'm standing next to the line on the floor and I ask the rods, show me the line. There we go, and then I move to it, and when I'm on it they cross. I hope you can see that. I don't think so. And then I walk, and then I go off and they uncross again because I'm not on the line anymore. And this is just a visual aid for you to make things easier. So he asked the rods, show me the line, and the rods are crossing. And now he moves away from the line And then the rods probably, yes, you can see the rods uncross because he's not in the right direction. And then he asks again to show him the line, and he goes to that point and they cross again, or they don't with there now.
No. So the difference between what Blossom and I did now was what I said was actually follow the line. That's mine did not cross.
Yeah.
So they just pointed me in the direction I was going or supposed to go. So that was the difference now. That's why mine didn't cross. Because follow the line and show me the line are two. When you follow the line, it won't cross when you hit the line. It would just point you in the direction the line is going. And with what Blossom did is when she hit the line, they crossed to tell her, right, you're right on now.
And what Bear is saying here is very important, because the wording is so important, how you ask your questions. You have to be very precise. That's why often different dowsers are getting different results, because the wording is different. So be very clear about what you want to ask, set your intentions clearly, and yeah. So I think that is a good starting point. I have no idea how long. I try to do this video not too long, but I also try to bring a bit of information so you actually can, if you are in the mood to do that, to go out and look for energy lines and geospirals. Like I said, geospirals can be found everywhere, and of course they are spirals, so you can then look for the rings for each ring. So you ask, for example, show me the nearest geospiral, so that's here, let's assume that's here, and then usually that brings you into the center of the geospiral, and then you move forward, and every time your your rods cross, stuff, they cross, you are on a ring. And it is said, I don't know exactly if that's true, so I just have to believe people who are of course much more experienced than I am. They always come in set of 7, so you either hit 7 circles or 14 or 21, 28 and so on. I think I've read somewhere it's never more than 49, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
That's quite big already.
It's
quite big.
So, yeah, and like I said, you can find them everywhere. Also, maybe in a field. Also, you know, places where you feel, even if it's not a sacred site, even if it's not a church, it's just a place in the forest near where you live. And every time you go there, and you feel very at peace and blissful and happy, and it makes you happy, and it really fills your cup being there. Check if there might be a geospiral or anything else, any energy lines. So I will, if this video, if you're interested in dowsing in general, I am open to do more. However, if I don't get a lot of response, don't worry. It's not like
No pressure.
No pressure. No, not at all. But I know that dowsing is not everybody's cup of tea. Not everybody is interested in it. And if I don't get a lot of response, you know, there's no reason for me to do videos about it, because it takes a little bit of time to prepare those, even if I did wing this one. Trying to. I have a few notes at least. So, yeah. Do you want to douse? Oh, let's do something else. Let's do something, sorry. No,
Somebody had an epiphany.
Oh, I forgot something. We do still something else with the pendulum now. Come with us. So you saw the stone now in the background, and you can also dowse the stone itself if you have you know, a standing stone in your area. And what I found is that you can find positive and negative zones or bands, if you want, if you like, and you just ask if you have established your positive energy and negative energy, you can find those zones. So let's come a bit closer. Show me the energy in this area. And then we have a positive response, so positive. So you can see, you can dowse that too. I also have a stone, so I'm gonna check this one out for myself now. But also a stone in the area where is that what I call the dead zone, so there's no response whatsoever. Also what you might want to do, sorry, there are children somewhere. What you might want to do is to establish with your pendulum a maybe or I don't know. And that for me, for example, is standing still. Just as a side note. I hope it makes sense for you.
Well, I understood you, but
Okay.
I understand you anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah, well. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you want any kind of follow-up, let me know. I'm happy to do that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you so much love and many blessings, and bye-bye.
Bye.